All right, hi guys. I'm here with Mallory Knox, and if you guys could please introduce yourselves.
I'm Dave.
I'm James.
I'm Mikey.
I'm Sam.
And I'm Joe.
All right. Earlier this year, you guys toured with Pierce the Veil and Sleeping with Sirens in the World Tour. How has that experience compared to now being on the Warped Tour?
Well, I suppose, shall I take this and do that? Okay. So weather-wise, it's been quite the extreme difference. When we were here earlier this year, it was really cold and there was loads of snow and like everything was freezing up in our bandwagon and all that kind of stuff. And now we literally have the polar opposite of that. You know, it's ridiculously warm and we're trying to stay cool. So I mean, there's that there. I think in terms of shows and stuff, I think a lot of similar people are coming out to Warped Tour as came out to the World Tour. But obviously there's a lot more to see and a lot more to do here, so it's a lot more difficult.
I think we were given like a really easy start by getting the Pierce the Veil and Sleeping with Sirens. So, you know, for a band like us that had like no sort of pull in America whatsoever at the time, to be given a tour like that was kind of something we never expected, and we had to jump at the chance. Whereas here, we're having to work for it again. I know, like with Pierce the Veil and Sleeping with Sirens, we gained some fans and stuff, but there's a million bands playing here, and you've really got to do something about it to try and earn the people's time to come and watch you and stuff. So it's like we kind of had it on a plate with that tour, and whereas this time we've kind of had to go back to the roots and like really graft for it and really work for it and stuff, you know. And it's kind of been almost refreshing to like go back to that and really try and earn people's attention, you know.
What he said.
You recently released your sophomore album, Asymmetry, here in the U.S. How do you feel your fans have responded to it here?
Well, I think so far so good. You know, it's only been a couple of weeks at the moment, and this tour is very much for us the opportunity to push it out to people. But it's been received so fantastically well already. People are loving like the albums before, and because of that, they're sort of latching onto the new one very much so too. So yeah, I mean, it's just kind of a waiting game, I suppose, waiting for everyone to sort of hear about it and hear from their friends and word of mouth and things, you know, and see where it goes from there. But so far, yeah, definitely so good.
What is it about this album that distinguishes it from your previous one, Signals?
I think when we were writing it, we had a couple of months where we tried to kind of follow up the last album instead of trying to write an album. Do you know what I mean? With the first album, we were just like still finding ourselves, and we kind of had the freedom to like express ourselves and just do whatever we wanted because we didn't have anything to follow up. And I think for the first couple of months, we kind of let that affect us a bit. We wanted to try and write maybe another Lighthouse song or something like that. But once we got into it and we decided to be our own favourite band again, it all started to kind of like flow a bit more. And I think once we got into that mindset, it all just really became, we were much more focused on what we wanted it to be. We took a lot more time with the lyrics and a lot more time with certain guitar riffs and stuff, which in the actual recording process was exactly the same because we had 4 months instead of 2.5 weeks, and we actually really got to nail down each sound and like express every part as it should have been, instead of just going in there and be like, right, we've got to get it down today. Like, whereas with this time we really took the time to figure out how we wanted to go about it and stuff, you know. And I don't want to say this album's a lot more us, because I still believe that Signals at the time was us. It's just us as it was at that specific moment in time, and I hope it kind of defined us at that point. And whenever we come to write a record, it has to define how we feel at the time creatively, you know. So it's always going to sound the same. It's always going to have the same kind of influences, but I just hope that it has like the next step of what we had done before, you know.
Do you have any particular rituals or songwriting processes?
Well, I don't. We kind of get to the point where Sam spends a lot of his free time, kind of like contemplating melodies and song ideas, and even writing like large portions of songs. And it sort of comes to the point where he'll come to a practice or a rehearsal and go, hey, I've got this little this little lick or this little melody line, or even like the first verse and a chorus of a song, and we'll sort of all jump on it and work through it and sort of refine it into sort of a finished article, if you know what I mean. So I mean, it's not particularly like a specific set out plan for writing, but you know, I think we all have an ear or a similar ear for the stuff that we think will work as a Mallory song, you know. So a guitar line comes out or a melody line, like everyone's ears prick up, you know, and we can all work towards that.
Yeah, I think like there's not so much rituals when it comes to writing. I mean, like the nucleus of the song is not always like started on acoustic guitar and it comes into a practice like that. But the thing is, when you've been in a band for 5 years, you get to realise what everyone's strengths are within the band. Like James is very, very good at like doing like riffs and guitar solos, and he's got a really good ear for that kind of rock and roll vibe, you know, like it really come out on this album a lot more, I feel. Whereas with Joe, it's just like he just knows his stuff on guitar, like he can just, anything you want him to play, he'll do. And then when he wants to come up with an idea himself, it's like, well, I never would have thought of that, do you know what I mean? And it's just everyone kind of, you know who to look to when you're looking for a certain something, do you know what I mean? And I think, whereas before, as I said, when we were still trying to find ourselves as a band, now that we had that first album to go on, we realised how everyone works together and stuff, and you just know who to look to at a certain specific time, you know? And I think we learnt each other, like, personally and individually, as well as learning each other as a band.
Yeah, there's a cohesion that's sort of come with time, you know, with learning each other and learning like your strengths and weaknesses.
Dave don't really do a lot. He just hits
hits the pots and pans.
Sometimes we try and like tell him like just do like this, do like this beat, and that's all we can give him. Then he gets frustrated and wants to walk out.
But that's our limited experience of drums. Like we don't go right, hit that, and then that in this way. It's du. You know, that's what Dave has to work with, and for credit to him.
We blame him for everything that goes wrong. Every bad song we've ever written is Dave's fault. And it normally is.
You said that you have to do something to capture the audience here at Warped Tour. And what is it that Mallory Knox does to capture its own audience?
Not saying anything against other bands on this bill for a start, but a lot of bands these days play to click. They play with backing tracks, you know, a lot of synthesizers and stuff that they just can't pull off live, and it has to be done with backing track. They can't do it as a band, you know. But whereas with us, I just feel we're so back to basics that not a lot of bands do it anymore. We don't play to click. Everything is completely live. We have no synthesizers or nothing like that, no backing track. We literally go up there and we play the songs as they were written, you know. We don't do anything other than that. I just feel no one wants to hear a song that's exactly the same as on a CD. What's the point? So we always stick by that fact of like, if we're going to play it a little bit too fast, then you've got to see the beauty in that instead of like it being like a mistake. So it's just so much more refreshing, I think, and I think kids can feed off that. Like, that's how the song was written, you know. You get to witness how it sounded for us when we played those songs live. And man, we might go on a click track one day, I have no idea, I can't predict the future, but all I know is that when we're playing in that situation with no click track, we can feed off the energy of the crowd as well, and we can feed off what we're doing. We're not having to listen to it in our ear and stuff, you know. And I think we must be one of the only bands on this tour that are doing that, you know.
I think someone a couple of days ago said to me like, oh, you've got to do a thing to like make people want to come and see you, you know, like hang off a frame upside down, or like say something ridiculous or like controversial, or you know, just dress like an absolute, you know, weirdo, like what, you know, whatever it is. And straight away I thought to that, you know, like, how about you just make music that people want to hear and that attract people to your stage or to your sound, you know. I don't, you know, if a bloke, I don't care if a bloke can hang upside down off a thing. I mean, that's rather impressive, but it's also, if he can't sing for any, you know, for what he's supposed to be doing, then what's the point? You know, go join the circus, swing upside down by all means, but do it somewhere else, in my opinion.
Yeah, I just think it's very honest. I think it's a very honest connection between us and the fans, and I think our fans do appreciate that. You know, I think we take the time after the shows to go and say hello to people, and it's never a chore. You hear bands that go, oh, play the show, I'm too hot, I want to go shower. Like, we always take the time to go and see them, and I just think when we play live, it's just a very, very honest connection, and I hope we never lose that.
That's our thing.
What is your favorite song to perform live? So
recently in our set, we've we've added a new song from Asymmetry, our new record, called Dying to Survive. It's a track that we've always wanted to play, but it hasn't always found a place within the set. I think we're very proud of a lot of our songs, and if we could, we would play every single one of them, because that's how we sort of function when it comes to writing. But Dying to Survive was definitely one that we'd all sort of subconsciously thought that should be at some point in the set, and luckily we have the opportunity here in the States to trial it and run it out, and it's been a fantastic song to play live. There's a point right at the end where it all sort of culminates with both musically and vocally, and everyone gets involved with the backing vocals and stuff, and it's such a great thing to know, like, all these guys are sort of behind me, like, fucking shouting, they're like, sorry, I swear, shouting and sort of backing me up, and it's a great feeling for sure.
It's sick, because like, if I go back to what I said earlier about how you bring out everyone's like qualities within the band, that song has it all. It has Mikey's vocals when he's shouting at the top of his lungs. It has Dave absolutely like smashing the drums like you wouldn't believe. James's guitar work, and like Joe's like backing vocals and his guitar work as well. And the best thing about the song is the bass line. So like I get to really shine on that one, you know. So I think kind of just it's fun for us all.
What is the nicest or perhaps weirdest fan interaction you've had this summer so far? Or ever?
But I was thinking about this morning. I was walking through the crowd the other day, and a girl just ran. In fact, I stood watching another band on another stage a few hours after I set, and this girl came running up to me, and she gave me a little flower, and then she ran off. And I was just stood there with this flower, and it made my day. I don't know if a guy should say things like that, but it did. It really, really did. I came back and I was all chipper, and I was like, boys, look. They were like, it's a flower. I was like, yeah, but it's my flower. Like, someone gave it to me. It was great.
One time Dave got baked a whole entire cake.
Oh, yeah. Didn't you get baked like a lasagna as well?
It was for my birthday, to be fair. It was literally for my birthday.
Yeah, but
I didn't just ask.
For your birthday.
No,
when someone bought you a gatto.
I just wanted a gatto at that point.
He like bullied like everyone on social media to bake him a cake, and someone actually did.
Didn't you get a whole load of socks at one point as well?
Oh yeah, I ran out of socks on tour once and begged people online to bring me some spare socks, and I got given like a lot, but a lot of them there were some that weren't washed. That was a bit weird, so I did throw them away. But there was some brand new socks with stars on, and I still wear them to this day.
Moral of the story is no one's welcome at a Mallory show unless you bring us treats or gifts.
But just a flower. Just a flower.
If you could tour with anyone, dead or alive, who would you tour with?
Blink 182. Blink for me.
Oasis, 100% Oasis. Favourite band ever.
I'd go with The Darkness just because it'd be such a laugh.
Foo Fighters, obviously.
He'll say Mozart or something.
No. Probably just the Beatles, really, because that would be like quite good, wouldn't it? Imagine playing that. It'd be like a One Direction show, but like
Smash them every night as well.
but without One Direction. I think it's pretty good.
Less tunes.
More tunes. That's an argument for another interview.
What advice do you have for other growing bands?
Stick at it. Stick to your guns. Do what you think's right. Don't let the music industry overtake your morals and your pride and let it get you down, because it's a hard world sometimes. Every band goes through it, but you just have to believe in yourself, have faith in what you want to do, write the best songs you can. If you believe in it, then it could take you somewhere special, and if it doesn't, you did what you wanted to do, and there's nothing more you can do than that. Never try and be anything but yourself. Don't let other people tell you what to do. Don't listen to people that say you're shit or whatever. Like, you just stick to what you want to do, and never look back with regrets about it. And there's nothing more to it than that. Every single band that has probably ever made it has just like wanted to stick to that. I mean, well, that's not true, is it? There's a million bands that have probably given in to the machine kind of thing, you know. But we haven't, and I think if you're a lot more honest with yourself, then it's a lot more meaningful if you do something like this, and it means a lot more. So I just say stick to what you believe in and go for it.
For sure. Imagine the band that you idolised or you wanted to idolise when you were a kid, and be that band. That's always been my ethic, you know.
Okay, we're going to play a little game. It's a little word association game. So I'm going to tell you a word, and you're going to tell me which one of your fellow bandmates you think relates to that word the most. All right. First word, hungry. Awkward.
James,
yeah.
charming?
Me.
Oh, come on, mate. Savvy.
Yes, that is very
Joe.
charming.
That has shocked me, lads. Thank you so much. I did not expect that.
Good with words.
All right. Fangirl.
Sam,
What do you mean?
if you met like Blink
Mark
or
Oh,
that,
right, yeah.
The Mark
you're
Hoppus
definitely
thing
most
was
likely
definitely
to freak
fangirl.
out. if you
We
met
didn't
an
hear
idol.
Sam met Mark Hoppus
And
once,
cried.
and we didn't hear about it. We didn't stop hearing about it for like 9 weeks
Yeah,
afterwards. It
I
was-
cried every Throwback Thursday on Instagram. Yeah.
All right. Drunk.
David.
Yeah, David now, not me anymore.
I'm fine with that.
6 months ago, it's a very
6
different
months
answer.
ago. Yeah.
All right. Adorable.
Jim Jam.
Romance.
I was going to avoid that. I was gonna say
All right. Lazy.
Chapman.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's a typical singer, and
Oh,
if you know,
yeah.
singers,
He
they don't
thinks
do a
this
bloody
game-
lot.
this game is bullshit.
Mature.
No one.
Yeah, I don't really.
Yeah.
No one likes growing up, so we try and stay as immature as we can.
We're like the Lost Boys. Just never grow up.
Nerd.
Mikey.
Chapman, yeah.
Brilliant. I get all the good awards.
He watches cartoons still.
It's fine. I own decisions.
Sorry, mate, I'm hungry and drunk all the time.
As if you weren't drunk, you wouldn't be hungry.
I'm charming, but we won't go on about that.
All right. Dirty. Whether that you interpret that as unhygienic or, you know.
Well,
David.
I know you're all insane.
If you take it one way, it's David. If you take it the other way, it's probably a large majority of the band. Make of that what you will. We'll leave it there.
Unfortunate.
Unfortunate.
Well, I've nearly had a black eye and fallen over on this floor, so it's probably me this
Yeah,
floor.
Joe's definitely
Tore
the
a hole in my
unfortunate
jeans
one so far.
yesterday. So yeah, I'll go.
David got pooed on by a bird.
Yeah,
did.
Like a bird.
At half 11 at night as well.
Not a human bird.
It was
He
a
dressed
sleeping
up.
bird.
All right. And the final one. Sexy.
I'm going for that one. I don't. No, I'm fed up
That
with it.
makes you
I'm
unsexy.
fed up with getting all the
Fucking
other
say.
ones. I'm fed up. Everyone gets all the other good ones, so I'm having it.
I think Dave's
just
got a
done
bit
it.
of a vibe about him.
Dave, when he dances, when Dave dances,
Yeah.
it's like nothing you've ever seen before.
He's got the moves.
It's like seeing a majestic elephant.
Spot on. His words, not ours.
All right. Well, thank you guys very much. It's been a
very much.
pleasure. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.